Hey guys, this is Alan from the Styrene Air Force coming to you with our very first ever official video. In this video series, I'm going to be looking at a lot of my finishing and weathering techniques, the way I do them. I'm not saying that the way I do them is right or the only way. This is just the different ways that I've learned that work very well for me, and you guys have seen some of the results. If you go to my Facebook page there, the Styrene Air Force, you can take a look at some of that work. And but I'm happy with the processes that I've developed for myself. I've learned a lot of different things from a lot of different people, and I've kind of incorporated a lot of it into my own style, so to speak. So a lot of this is going to be based on what I do, how I do it, and hopefully you guys can learn something from it and you can take something away from that. Most of my videos are going to be about, especially about that. I'm not going to get too much into the actual building aspect. I think there's enough videos out there of guys doing step-by-step gluing, pasting, prodding, whatever. So I'm going to avoid that because that's not pretty much what I want to portray. Everybody knows how to assemble a model kit. So I'm going to be, a lot of my videos, I'm going to be omitting the actual build. What you'll see is completed parts or completed sub-assemblies being painted, and that's pretty much what I'm going to focus on. For the first project that we're going to do in my ongoing video series is I'm going to be looking at doing this kit. It's the Monogram F-4C Phantom. This is going to be a piece that I'm going to be doing as a portfolio piece. It's going to be displayed over at Forbes Hobbies in Cambridge, Ontario. It's going to be done to showcase the upper and lower ends of what I do as far as painting and weathering goes. It's going to be a half and half. By that I mean one half is going to be done in an SEA scheme. It'll be quite battered, dirty, chips, a lot of different things like that. Shows a lot of the hardships this particular aircraft put up with. The second half of it is going to be a standard high visibility Navy scheme. It's going to have a little bit of weathering, a little bit of corrosion treatment. You're going to see some of the different aspects of things atypical to naval use aircraft serving on an aircraft carrier, but it won't be as severely damaged as the other side. So that's pretty much what this is going to be. I'm going to go over each step as I go. I'm going to begin with the cockpit, most likely. Typically that's where I start anyways. I tend to not follow a lot of times the building process in order, so I kind of just take it as I go. And again, like I said, we're just going to look at the way I do things. You guys can take from it what you will, and we'll go from there. Okay, for this particular build, I'm going to do something completely different. I typically would be using a lot of the Tamiya lines and some of the Model Masters and all of that. If you've seen one of my previous videos, I've recently taken quite a strong liking to the new Mission Models line. I recently was able to get my hands on, I'm assuming, the entire current line of their aircraft colors. So this kit is going to be done, for the most part, I want to be at least 99% of it on the Mission model so that you can see what this paint is like, what it does, how it performs, and where I'm going to go off the rails with it is if once we get to the weathering stages, to see how this particular paint will react with other market items like MIG weathering enamels and oil paints and that sort of stuff. If I can, what I might also do is show some diversity of this paint by using the acrylic model paints themselves as washes and filters and that sort of thing. So we'll play that by ear. I've never particularly liked using acrylic products for weathering because they take a lot of tending to keeping them hydrated and stuff. And you know, it's the kind of thing that once it dries, if you haven't gotten it right, the only thing to do with it is remove it and start over. So this is going to be on the new Mission Models line. There are about 80 colors so far in the line, so there's a lot of like modern naval jet colors, like your gold grays and stuff. Not that you can really see it. It's not the greatest camera in the world. This is just my regular webcam I'm using. But anyway, so there's a lot of like modern U.S. jet colors. So your gold grays, your ghost grays, gunship grays, that sort of stuff. There's also a couple of RLM colors for a lot of the German aircraft from the Second World War to be there. There are British colors, so we've got the dark earth color. I mean, under these lights, everything is pretty much going to look the same because it's just reflecting off the plastic of the bottle. RAF green, RAF interior, middle stone, those kind of colors. Then there's some modern Russian colors, primarily the turquoise green, interior green. That's a pretty good one to go with. And also they've got their, so I'll just show them both here. So the two zinc chromate colors, so zinc chromate green, and yellow green. So we're going to be playing around with a lot of these colors. Also, what is there that I'm going to see where I can actually work it in is their chrome. Don't know if you can see where it says chrome, and their gloss black base. So I'm going to experiment with these also in this build as well. It's not a very bad product line. There are some colors there that I've never really seen or heard from, but I guess you could just basically take them into context as they are. Something like the cold roll steel, that should be interesting, especially with this kit doing the heat deflector area. And I also was able to get the clear coat series. So they've got their gloss, they've got their semi-gloss, and then they've got the matte. So for this build, I'm going to divert from using my typical finish coats like Future. Yes, I am a Future user. Condemn me all you want. And another clear coat that I tend to use is Liquitex matte varnish. I like this one here quite a bit. Gives a nice flat finish. A little powdery sometimes if you go a little overboard with it, so it's something you gotta basically get used to using. I also have the Tamiya one as well, the flat clear. So we're gonna go into it with these paints and see how this comes out. And I'm gonna start with the cockpit. Okay, so before we begin, let's just take a look at this kit. There's a reason I picked this kit, considering that it's going to be a portfolio piece that'll never be part of my personal collection. One of the attractive features about the kit was, first of all, it was cheap. It's like 25 bucks Canadian. So if I don't get to keep it or I never see it again, I'm not going to be too broken up about it. So essentially, it is a 1/48 scale. So what I've got here is a couple of leftover decals from a previous kit that I had for a Phantom. So I'm going to basically be doing this over with this is going to be towards the naval side, plus I got a few extra decals here that is going to be going towards that aspect of it. Standard decal sheet for this kit. Again, this is going to be mostly for the SEA side of it, so not sure exactly which way I'm going to go. I'm going to see which one I want. Maybe I'll go with a brighter red or even the black. That might be easier to do some of the wear and tear and the chippings on. We'll see. A lot of these decals I may not even use. I may just end up painting that stuff on, but we'll get that as we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. We're still a ways off from that. So then of course the instruction manual and all of the sprues. Now another reason why I chose this kit is because this kit, like a lot of monograms, comes with raised detail. So one of the things that I'm going to be going over on this build is going to be scribing and riveting. So a lot of these lines we're going to rescribe out, and we're going to replace a lot of this riveting with rivets, being made with the RP Productions rivet tool. So we're going to go on with that. So that was another reason why I chose this kit. It's pretty simple in its details, so we are probably going to have to do a little bit of scratch building and a little bit of detail enhancing. That is also another thing that I plan to do as part of my series, is a lot of scratch building, cockpit upgrades, landing gears, that sort of thing, missiles, rockets, bombs, whatever. So we're going to get into all of that. Sometimes some of those demonstrations will not necessarily be on this kit. Probably using some of my paint mules, some additional leftover parts from previous kits that we're going to use to demonstrate certain things, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm not going to spend any time wasting your time watching videos of me assemble parts. So what I'm going to do from here now is I'm going to go off and get all of the interior parts together, get those assembled, get those prepped for paint, and we'll go from there. So this series, this first video here is going to be dedicated to a lot of the interior stuff. So stand by, I'm going to get this all done, and see you in a few. Okay, so initially the video I shot with a video camera that I bought for this, so this is what it was. Actually, piece of crap. The video all came out all out of focus. Anyways, so what I've got here is a completed of everything that I got done. So what you can see here is everything got a coat of black primer from Mission Model, mixed to the proper specifications. This paint works exceptionally well when you mix it to the proper specs. After that, I went over with a coat of light gray, shooting at a slight angle just to get down in here so we can get some of these shadows on the bottom, just to get some false shadows. After that, the seat cushions were painted with medium gray for the top up here, dark green for here, field gray for there. I tend to like to use tans for seat belts, only because doing white just doesn't seem right. I mean, people are handling them and all of that. You'd think they get a little bit dirty, so I usually use a tan so that they'll look like an off color or an off white. Mission Models does not have an off white, so I went with the lightest tan. All the instrument panel areas here were all done with 50-50 mix of NATO black and flat black. The red, I didn't have a red color from Mission Models, but there is a red as a part of their fighting vehicles line. This actually was just Vallejo model color that I just dropped on there. Yellow was painted on with a brush, and the black lines were done with a fine marker, Faber-Castell fine line, and just drawn on to get those lines in. Instrument panel is also pretty much done. The only thing I gotta get done now is all of the bezels and all of that, which I will do in a follow-up video from this. And then there's the Rio controller, same thing, and his flight stick. So hopefully, now that I've actually used a tablet as a camera, so hopefully I'll get some better video with this, and we will try to do this again. And then the next step, when I come to paint the inside here, which you guys can get to see, we'll get a better step-by-step with that, and then we will get to see that properly. Okay. So look out for the next video. That'll be coming up not too long after this, so stay tuned. Thanks.
Line 15, this is Allen Party, stand down, no TOD 0